Good afternoon, Sorors. We are excited to have you all here today, all of the mental health professionals. Um, we're going to take some time today to just kind of discuss holiday blues with a Z, right?
Right.
Just having some discussion, share some experiences regarding like the holidays, what folks might experience on different levels, of the spectrum in terms of like mental health concerns, whether you have mental illness or just normal stressors. Because this time of the season, we know that it's exacerbated, right, with all of the things that are going on. We're grateful to have you all here today on a Sunday afternoon. So just wanting to jump in and just kind of have some really organic conversation. This is just kind of getting us started on more of a positive note, like looking at like in general, like what does surviving the holidays mean to you?
For myself, that means getting through the holidays, seeing family, um, making sure that everyone is happy, even including myself. You want to be happy and you want to embrace those memories and moments.
I like how you include yourself in there as well.
Yeah.
Sometimes we don't think about ourselves. We're always like everybody else, right? So that is like a very important point. So I'm happy that you mentioned that.
Get into all the plans and the holidays, of the holidays.
Mhm.
I mean, the gatherings, planning out your schedule, planning your family functions, things of that nature. So it's just the scheduling of it all as well. And being able to make all the events and see all your family and get into January, because January is my birthday. So I need to make it through, Thanksgiving and Christmas so I can get to January.
And listen to what she said, like planning and the schedules. Like we can't even go into like what is considered a restful like time. All this like planning, schedules, right? Like surviving the holidays for her meant like planning and schedules. Anybody else on the chime in? Thank you for sharing that.
Being thankful and grateful for just all that you have and just taking a minute to take that all in because we are so much on the go and checking those tasks off that we sometimes forget to like sit back, relax, and look at the picture as a whole and just admire all the blessings that we have.
I think we can't forget about the holiday wait. Because it's a lot of food, and as she mentioned the pies, get all our pies. So, we got to make sure that's checked in too, because exercise is something that we need to do, especially for mental health.
Absolutely, yes.
Listen, I think about surviving the holidays. I think about just resetting because throughout our weekdays, our regular schedules is we're working, we're taking care of kids, we're on the constant go. The holidays I get excited about for because this is a time where I get to spend with my family. I don't have to think about work. I don't have to think about getting the kids to school in the morning or getting the kids to football or cheer practice. So we do so much throughout our daily lives that the holidays get here is our opportunity to really reset, prepare for, even the new year. What are our plans for the new year? So I really do get excited about the holidays because I'm not thinking about work. I think we get so overwhelmed with work, we forget about ourselves and our families and our children and things like that. So this is an opportunity for us to really like reset and reconnect with family.
Okay, so the next question, what are some holiday blues? And when we say holiday blues, that can consist of stressors or maybe as far as mental health, depression, anxiety. And, for myself, holiday blues are thinking about the loved ones that I've lost. Thanksgiving is really big for me. And my uncle who passed away maybe 3-4 years ago, and then his daughter passed right before that as well too. We used to go to his home and gather for Thanksgiving. We would rotate different homes, and he was a big glue to our family. So since that time, I experienced holiday blues a couple of days ago because I said, dang, why am I feeling like this? Like, I really miss my uncle. I miss my cousin. I miss us not getting together as much. And, we had other family members who have had other elements and, health has declined or we lost a lot of people. And since COVID, it's not the same. So, you know, and I kind of felt like maybe I'm having some depression, and, you know, I was just feeling real low. So for myself, the day after Thanksgiving, I said, I want everyone to come to my house and have a family game night. That way I can see everyone and we can gather, and it'll make me feel good as well as everyone too. But that season does hit heavy.
I think it's always something like it gets heavier around holidays because, like she said, you're thinking about those who lost people. But not only that, since COVID, you do have families that don't get together. They have family here, but since COVID, you still have people that live in the fear of COVID, getting sick, and you know, possibly losing so many high risk people now. You can't take that chance to be around your family members like you used to. I was just having a conversation just recently, like, we don't celebrate Thanksgiving like we used to when my sister and I was younger, where everybody gathered together at my mom's house or at my aunt's house or cousin's house, and we all eat and have our fun. It just changed, especially the older the kids get, the grandkids get, everybody drip off to their friends and other family members' house. So we don't come together no more like we used to at Big Mama house for Thanksgiving or for Christmas. It changed. So, I mean, it does hit different, especially because now that my age, we have kids that would never get to have that experience anymore. That experience is taken away.
Veronica, you mentioned something like COVID.
Mhm.
A lot of families from gathering, or they do it in smaller gatherings with their immediate family. For me, my mom's family had a celebration since before I was born every Christmas. So that meant everybody got together, our cousins, aunties, uncles. But since COVID, we've done it one time, and that was virtual. Because each one of us are now meeting with our immediate family. So it's like a 50-year tradition that's gone now.
You're in the house all day by yourself with your kids on Christmas. You like, so what you doing for Christmas? Oh, nothing. Just at the house with the kids. Open gifts. I can go to church, eat some food, and go back to sleep.
For me, I'm trying to figure out things for my family to do. I was sharing that with somebody. I was like, okay, my son coming home now. I got to figure out a schedule. What we gonna do? What's our family thing we're gonna do this year? I try to pick something different other than Dave and Buster's, you know, because kids love that. But you know, just planning stuff now for us, that's a stressor for me.
I would say, like, for me, it's a struggle because it's like, on one hand, you're trying to, like, put things in place so it can be like a happy time, right? But then at the same time, you start thinking about, like, the pandemic, like folks who you have lost, and, you know, even loss that not necessarily associated with the pandemic. Like, my grandfather was, you know, he's like a major staple in the family, even though, like, for Thanksgiving, he's like one of grumpy grandpas. He'll come down, he'll cut the turkey, do the prayer, and then he's back up and
Y'all interrupting the game.
But just, you know, that's still like a significant loss, right? And so it's like, I know everybody at this table know, like, we put our game face on, but, you know, we have like our sense of like feeling hurt behind, and you can't like stop because you got to keep it moving, you know? Yeah. So it's kind of like, for me, it's kind of like how do I allow myself sometimes to grieve around the holidays? You know, my father, I lost him years and years and years ago, but it's still like the holidays are sad because I lost him right before Christmas. So, you know, so when I hear like holiday blues, that's like, for me, that's kind of like my like struggle trying to manage both being happy and being sad.
Right. I would have to agree. I would say that a lot of depression happens around that time based on just so many lost and just things that normally that you just kind of go through. You're used to having your life, especially depends on how long you've been on this earth, with all the people that have come with you on this earth, your grandparents, your parents, and, you know, your cousins and your other kids and things like that. And then all of a sudden when that changes and that dynamic is no longer there, it becomes a huge stressor. I can honestly say last year was a very tough year, losing my nephew. And that was the first holiday that we had without him. But me, myself, I didn't want to face my sister or my mother. So I didn't go over her house on Thanksgiving. And I knew she wanted me to, but I made other plans because I said, I can't see her. I don't want to see her. If I go over there, it's going to cause too many emotions for me. And I don't want to do that. And I want it to be in my space. And so I did just ignored her and didn't go over there. I just talked to her. But she has not let me live that down. It's going on the whole year. And she talks about it still, like, you didn't come over at that first Thanksgiving and, you know your nephew's not here. And I'm like, I just could not do it. And so this is the second year, as well as losing my father. And it's two major people. And so those things bring us on so much pain and hurt that it's like, I don't know if I really want to face this again. You know, I know this year we decided as a family we're going to all get together on Thanksgiving and try to do something with our family. That's been a struggle, Lord knows. Family can cause a lot of stress as well. You love them, but they can bring on some stress. So
We need to pay 'em.
Yes, Lord, your time is up. And so it's very hard just dealing with that. But telling everybody we are still family. Let's come together. Let's try to smile. Let's try to laugh. Let's try to have a good time. And it's hard to do when you missing those key people.
In addition to loss and family dynamic changes, I think finances are a big stressor for people. Yeah, because you're so set on making others happy. You have to provide the perfect Christmas, the perfect Thanksgiving, seasonal employment. Finances hit a lot of people hard during this time of year. So that's really a top stressor as well.
It is. So, what are some behaviors of the holiday blues?
Depression, drifting away. You got people when they're going through the holiday blues, they distance themselves from other families. Isolation is a big thing. They don't, because we live in a community where we don't talk about what's going on with us. We rather keep it to ourselves. So we're gonna isolate ourselves from the rest of the family. Oh, I'm okay. I'm just not feeling well, but I'll see you next Christmas or next Thanksgiving. That isolation is a big thing when it comes to the holidays.
Even anxiety, planning, trying to prep, make sure everybody is taken care of. And, sometimes you get so anxious, you just kind of fade out. And you forget what you were supposed to be doing, or you put something down.
Right.
You cook and you didn't left the stove on, and you were there trying to put your makeup on, and man.
Right.
Y'all gonna see me as I am, no makeup and all. I'm coming out in the old sundress because I just don't got time.
Overworking yourself, overextending yourself.
Sometimes we don't recognize like our body is like tired or telling you like you are anxious, you are depressed, and you're like, nope, I gotta keep going.
Yeah.
I gotta keep going.
Keep moving.
And sometimes we keep moving to not deal with it.
Right? So true.
And I don't know.
Guilty.
I don't know what camera
Just guilty.
Right.
I'm going through it now.
I think most black women are guilty of that.
Yeah.
We gotta keep moving. We gotta be superwoman. We can't stop. We can't let nobody see what we're going through.
Right. And when I get stressed, I know I let me get on the computer and do some work.
What are some coping strategies and techniques? I sometimes have to just stop in the middle of what I'm doing and just a 2, 3, 5 minute break of meditation to give myself that opportunity to bring myself back to reality. I am that person that will overextend myself and will overdo it and gotta make sure everything is perfect. And sometimes I have to remind myself and take that, like, it's not gonna come out perfect. Do the best that you can. And sometimes the best that you can is perfect.
Right.
Can you say that again?
Sometimes the best that you can is perfect.
Right.
No, you try to make it perfect, but sometimes when you do the best that you can and you look at it, you're like, dang, that came out perfect.
Right.
The best that you can't be perfect.
That's good.
For myself, I spend a lot of time by myself, and I like to reset. And sitting in my room. That's my happy place. I'm watching TV. I do like to spend time with just me. I go out, go get some dinner, go for a walk. You know, sometimes we forget about us. So
what I try to do is I try to prepare and set boundaries, right? So I'm always like being teased about making lists, right? And so I try to come up with these lists to try to avoid situations later, right? So I try to super prepare. And when I say prepare, I mean like prepare for how to even deal with people during the holidays, right? And then set like some holiday boundaries, because you know you do have like family members that try to overextend you, and you just like say yes, you know what I mean? Whether it's like last minute shopping, buying stuff for kids, grandkids. Where's the camera? So my daughter. So like for my own like mental health, I try to prepare as much as possible and set realistic boundaries.
Just centering yourself and taking in a couple of deep breaths, just taking yourself away from the situation and learning to breathe and just pay attention to that and be in that moment and not get so caught up in everything else that's going on. Sometimes you just have to reground yourself. So many times we just get so trapped and engaged in what's happening, what's going on, and our emotions. And sometimes you need to pull away from that, stand there and take in a couple of breaths and just relax, let it go. You can't change what's already happened.
All of us sitting at this table, like in some kind of capacity, we like all like mental health professionals, right? So like what advice would you give to somebody who's feeling like overwhelmed around this time and they just don't necessarily like know what to do?
Know your limits. Know yourself, know your limitations. Right. Know it's okay to say no.
Can you say that?
Right.
It's
Right.
okay to say no.
I use that word in a heartbeat. That's so true. Reach out to your support system. I think, and we live in a day and age where it's no new friends, or I don't deal with females. But sometimes we don't realize that sometimes we need those friends. We need those even new friends, old friends. We need at least one person we can go through our contacts and call. It should be one person you should be able to open up your phone and call, whether it's a mom, a sister, a dad, a brother, a cousin, an auntie, uncle, a soror. You should be able to unlock your phone and go in your contact and find one person in that contact that you could call and just be like, don't say nothing, just let me vent. And that's another thing. Sometimes we just need to be quiet and listen.
I'm glad you said that, because sometimes folks who aren't professionals, when somebody comes to them, they don't know how to respond. And so you hit it right on the head.
The best response is no response.
Yeah, because sometimes folks feel like if they're coming to me, that means I need to fix it. I need to give advice. I need to guide you. And sometimes I will tell people, like, I have no words. I have no words.
Right.
I have no words. So that was perfect. That's perfect.
Well, that segues us into number 5, which is why is identifying a support system important?
Oh, yeah.
We all you said it.
Because again, that support system, like I said, is definitely important. It is important because it'll help ease that stress. It'll take that weight and that load right off of you. You don't have to carry that weight by yourself. Right. So when you have that support system, it's letting you know you're not in this alone. Sometimes you may not be the only person that's feeling stressed. Like, imagine me calling you, telling you I'm stressed out, and you, girl, I'm stressed out too. I got a little baby over here talking about some, he want a PS5 and some Jesus, my kid, and I don't know how I'm about to get it. My check was short. Girl, mine was too. I'm over here. So y'all stressing together. So again, it's carrying that weight. It's removing that weight that you felt like you carrying alone when you're not the only one. Support is important.
But sometimes too, you got to help them to identify that support system, because you find that sometimes some people don't even realize what that support system is for them.
That's true.
I run into clients all the time who don't have anybody. Sometimes it's nobody but them and their kids, and even though we love our children, but we know you cannot have a conversation with them all the time. You know, that baby talk get tired. You guys, I'm tired of talking to this baby. You know, they looking at you looking at them, everybody, you know, it doesn't work. So sometimes you got to help them to find what is that system for them. How does that look? It's not always the people that you can just readily get to in your phone. Sometimes it can be just somebody that you just met. It can be a doctor. It can be a nurse. It can be anything else outside of that. So helping them to identify those different things of what is that support system for you will also help them to get to those needs.
I will admit that I am very guilty of not identifying my support systems all the time. As a young child, like my parents were my support system. And they still are. However, I try not to lay every burden or every issue on them that may arise my way. So I had to identify different avenues. Like, okay, well, who's a good listener that I know? Or has expertise in this particular area that I might have this issue in. So, yeah, I definitely had to kind of learn that the hard way in some areas. But
That's how
you live and learn.
Yeah, I can get the same way where I can have 10 people in front of me and I'm like, nobody's here to help. Like, you know, I got 10 people right here because I'm so used to doing it on my own. And I had to realize, like, girl, it ain't that bad. Like, take a step back and lean on the people that's in front of you. They're willing to help you, but you just got to say you need help.
Right. And what I love about social media is you can find everything on social media. I remember a season in my life where I felt like I was the only parent out here being a single mama trying to raise a boy. And I had somebody invite me to this Mother's Chronicles group where it's moms with kids. And moms that be like, hey, let's all get together and go do this. And I met some other moms that were struggling with the same behavior with their son. And I'm like, so what do you do? What do I do? What do we do? I will call our sister over here in her second, like, okay, look, Marcel out here doing such and such. I'm about ready to catch you. What am I supposed to do? And she will actually bring me from 10 to 0. And I will go back and have that conversation with my son. So I say sometimes we have to learn how to utilize our resources. Right. You can find a lot on Google. So there is always a way of finding that support system. It's how you go about it.
I would add to that too when you say how you go about it. I think one of the things, and I'm gonna plug myself here because I'm always talking about stress prep, right? And it might sound funny to like folks outside of the mental health profession, but I'm always saying stress prep. Like you need to prepare for your stress, right? And when you're not going through anything, it's like, girl, what are you talking about? Stress prep, right? But just kind of being transparent when I was kind of going through my own situation and really needing to talk to somebody when I was given a resource for a therapist, sometimes you can't like make that connection. You can't find that person. You can't do these assessments. You need a number and a person, right? And so for me, my experience was the referral that I received. She didn't call me back until later. Then she wanted to do an assessment. And I'm like, I'm about to jump off a bridge. And you texted me 10 hours later. And so even as a mental health professional, I'm like, I'll just deal with it myself. Right? And so that just takes me back to like, I'm always telling people to stress prep. So even though you don't need a therapist, you know, see what your friends doing and, you know, do a little bit of research so that if you get to that point where you need a therapist, you know who to call. Or when you get to the point where you feel like you need to shut down, you say, if I get to this point, this level of stress, I'm just going to lay in the bed for half of the day, right? Or if I feel like I'm getting overwhelmed, I'm going to go get a manicure and pedicure. Like whatever stress prep look like for you, stress prep.
And then you are a therapist yourself, it's odd when you do call for a therapist and you're kind of judging them like, what are you talking about? This ain't helping me. Why don't you get your license?
Something that we always hear, How does the social worker need a social worker? How does the therapist need a therapist? Or the nurse need a nurse? You know,
Right.
it goes both ways.
I tell
Yes.
people in a heartbeat, I got a therapist. I will call her in a heartbeat. But my thing today is, even today, we got psychology today. There's different websites that you can call and different phone numbers that'll get you on the phone with a therapist that exact same day. So to me personally, it's like we have the tools and the resources.
Yes.
It's about how to go about it. When people come to me, because I know I'm not a licensed profession, I point them into a licensed profession.
So that brings us to our next question, actually. So, how does someone identify a support system or things that could help them in that chaos or those crises they may be experiencing? Usually, when we are stressed out, we have the tendency to identify everything that's wrong. So, everything is going wrong.
Everything.
Everything's on fire. So, just take a moment and try to identify things that are right.
That's right.
And that usually directs you towards a resource that you can utilize to correct what's wrong.
I think
Yes.
the overarching thing is just like to be intentional.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And so, like, whatever that looks like for each individual, you just really have to be intentional, right? And so, like, one analogy I tell people that I'm working with is like, you know, they'll say, I went to a therapist and we wasn't vibing, right? So I'm good on that right now. And they be like, girl, if you go get your hair done and she messed your hair up, you're not gonna be like, I ain't getting my hair done no more, right? You go and you find somebody else, and you keep going until you find somebody else. And so we just need to get into the space of treating like our mental wellness with the same level of commitment we do everything else.
And at the same time, too, though, be mindful on who you are expressing these stressors to. And I say that because sometimes we definitely got to be mindful on who we are venting to at the same time. We can't vent to everybody. Stop going to social media, venting to social media.
Right.
Because if you're going to go to social media and vent to social media, you can go to a therapist that's licensed that's not going to stage your business either. I just posted that. I had to get that out. But I say that to say because some people uses what you're going through against you later on in the long run. So when you are venting, make sure that who you talking to is somebody that you know for a fact is not going to throw it up in your face the moment you make them mad or the moment you tell them no. I'm very mindful on energy and who I'm venting to and who I'm allowing in my business, in my space. So before you do pick up the phone and call that person, make sure this is somebody that you can actually talk to and don't have to worry about them throwing it up in your face the moment y'all fall out or going back to somebody in y'all other sister friend circle or group that's gonna go and tell what you just told them to the next. We do that so much as women, like, and it makes it hard for us to really talk to other women about what we're going through. We have the big, we walk around here with the biggest trust issue on our shoulder. I don't trust other women because I opened up to this woman, and the woman I opened up to this woman, she went over to Yvette and told Yvette what I was going through, and I don't even mess with Yvette like that. How she know my business? So we gotta be mindful of who we are venting to.
I know one thing, just to be open and honest, when my nephew passed last year, he died by suicide. And my sister was really having a hard time, where we all was, and she came to me and she was like, I don't know what to do. I don't know how to move past this. I don't know how to deal with this. And this being my first time in our family to deal with something of this nature, to lose someone to suicide, and then someone young. So it was like, I don't know what to tell you what to do either. You know, it doesn't matter what what I think I know, but when you're going through it, you lose a lot of what you think you know. And it's like, how do I help her? And I remember telling her, I said, she said, well, I tried. I said, why don't you go to a support group? So she did that. She said, well, it wasn't a lot of people in there, and it really was no one of her skin color. And she said, some of these people have lost their loved ones years ago, and I don't want to still be in this space forever. And I said, you know what? Sometimes when there's something that's not out there that you can't find, sometimes you have to make the space for it.
Absolutely.
So while you're looking for something, you need to be that thing that people need to find. because sometimes there's not places that we can go, especially as African Americans. Sometimes it's just not there for us. So we go, we don't feel a connection, and so we pull away, we move away. And so I said, just event a space, and people will come. And if not, this is for you to help yourself and to help anybody else that's coming along, especially those in our family. And so that's what I have to tell them to do. So I advise anybody, if it's not out there for you, invent it, make it happen.
Another thing that we could do to help with that barrier, especially in the African American community, we have to get past the stigma of mental health. It's not a real illness. You're just faking it. You're being lazy. You're trying to get out of doing something. We had to get rid of that stigma within our community in order to seek the resources and create the resources that we need to service ourselves.
I would say if you don't know where to start, like some folks don't know where to start and you're in a space where they may not be able to Google, you can always start with a medical professional. So like if you have a primary doctor, you can talk to your doctor. That's somewhere, right? And that's a professional. And so with all the crossover now, they kind of ask like a couple of mental health type of questions now with your business. So if you don't know where to start, you can start with your medical professional, I would say. And also now we have the 988 number.
Yes.
So if you're experiencing a crisis, you can, call 988 if you don't know where else to go, what else to do. Because, some folks, depending on what space they're in, they just don't know where to start. Whether it be Facebook, Google, cousin, auntie, they don't want, like you said, the stigma. They don't want people to know that they're experiencing those things. So talk to your doctor. Call 988. I don't know if folks have some other stuff too.
Yeah, I'm trying to look up the DWIN number, Detroit Miami
Integrated
Health Network.
Right. 1-800-241-4949.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm a by heart DMC girl, so they do have the crisis center located in Detroit Receiving, Sinai like Grace Hospital. You can always call 911 if you need assistance.
In Michigan, in Detroit, Wayne County especially, we do have limited resources when it comes to mental health, but do take advantage of the resources that are there. Like she said, talking to your doctors, a lot of times we go through the emergency rooms and they ask you those questions. Do you feel safe at home? Be upfront and honest. If you're not feeling safe at home, say no. If you feel so, say no. Sometimes we sleep on medication, and I know, like sometimes those medications that they give us can help us as well. So don't sleep on it. If you know you need that help, go and get the help.
And you know what? To add family, we can be a resource to our families.
Right.
We need to stop saying, oh, someone just put something in their drink, or it is things that's being laced, marijuana.
Yeah.
But it starts with the family.
And I think that everybody at this table, whether you want it or not, whether you want to say it or not, we all have a responsibility to our community, to our families, right? Because we are armed with the information that they don't have. We have the licenses, we have the information, and we can convey it to them in a way that they can digest it, right? Sometimes doctors speak over our heads. We can come to them with a language that they like, oh, nobody never really said it to me like that. You know what I'm saying? I didn't know that this kind of help existed. I didn't know that that was the role. So I just say that everybody at this table, we have responsibility. We all have a responsibility to educate our people.
And my last little tip is, since we're all in the role of leadership and for our community, something that I do for the team that I manage for the holidays like Thanksgiving, I posted in our group chat, hey, this is where they'll be serving free meals, or this is a turkey giveaway, because you never know who is going through what. We have the information. We get it. We get those resources. So even if we're not feeling so good ourselves, pass it along, because you never know who's going to need it.
Even as Sorors, being in the sorority and the organizations that we are in, we need to reset. We are all these committees. Some of us are in more than one different organizations. We're in several organizations where we're constantly on the go. Sometimes it's okay to say, no, I can't come to this event. I have a soror that tells me all the time, Veronica, you just did this, you just did that. Maybe you just need to sit this one out for the day. Stop you overextending yourself again. Like sometimes, no, but for real though. But even as a neo, you want to be out there, you want to be seen, you want to be noticed, you want people to get to know who you are. But sometimes it's okay to step back and say, look, I ain't going to this event, I'm staying in the house. So it's okay, even like I said, even being in our organizations to say, no, I can't do this committee event. Maybe the next one. Or I can't come here or go there. I'll be maybe the next one. So it's okay to just reset,
be intentional. When you see sorors reaching out on social media and something is wrong, it's okay to reach out and y'all have that conversation and say, hey, you good.
Right.
I'll reach out in a minute and send hey, you good, you need anything? And always leading with the open heart. Because I've been a Zeta this year, 19 years. But I'm in and out. Because sometimes I do feel like some sorors are not intentional. When you going through a divorce or someone is passing your family or having a child or even relationship issues. And sometimes they don't be. So it makes you phase back.
Yeah.
But moving forward, we should all continue to have that open heart where that's what we sisterhood, right?
Right.
That's one of our main principles. You reach that hand out because I need somebody to grab me too.
Right.
So, I just said I'm starting to come back around because it was times where I didn't feel like other sorors were intentional. So I went over here to my regular friends. So now, me being older in Zeta years, I said, let me start helping other sorors because I see stuff. We all see things. And, it's okay to say, you good today? Do you need anything? Let's go hang out.
Also play into not being judgmental.
Yes.
So if someone asks you for help, what they need help for. I just seen them. They was out last night. They look fine. Why they need my help? Okay. If someone is asking, it's probably truly because they need it.
Yeah. We gotta take our mask off too. We hide what we're going through under a mask, but sometimes those masks need to come off, and we too need to make sure we got that therapist to go to and talk to as well. Me personally, I send out random text messages in a random days of the week. I've had people like, this came right on time. So sometimes that random text message of encouragement can definitely help somebody get through what they're going through.
Mondays.
That's right.
The last thing I will say in closing for me, it's going to sound so cliche, but it's so sincere that if you do not take the time to be intentional, to take care of yourself, you cannot pour into other people.
That's right.
Thanks.
It's so cliche because you hear people say it.
But it's true.
Ooh, baby. Okay.
So with that being said, first of all, I would like to say thank all of you beautiful, intelligent, lovely ladies for your insight, your input, your expertise, your professionalism. And I love this talk because it was very organic and genuine. Even though I did have some structured questions up there, you guys just put it out there and you put it on the table. No holds barred. And I appreciate that.